So welcome folks, it's your buddy Mojo.
And the Goose Man.
And here we are again with something we call the State of the Channel Address. And as Goose pointed out to me the last time, oh well, probably should only have one a year. Well, maybe, but I like to try to do it as often as possible. And what I wanted to do was try to do it monthly. With us being quote unquote the birds of play, Hawk and Goose. But we've ran into some complications and real life gets in the way sometimes. So here we are today to quickly stream an update of where this channel's going. As I consider Goose my partner in crime here, and you've been fighting off some illness lately.
Yes.
And with me personally, you sound fantastic now.
I'm glad.
And myself, I've picked up a lot of extra work lately, and I got a couple other promising things and ventures on the horizon. So streaming is going to be a little bit harder, but one thing I have devoted myself to is this following month of October. Backing up briefly here, I like to try to stream on Monday and Wednesdays. As you can see by the channel, it's been quite sparse lately on that. But we're going to try to get some content out tonight. We're going to talk to the squad a little bit, see if they're willing to stream at least a little bit of gameplay. So it's not just this little quote-unquote podcast here. But no guarantees there. But October is right around the corner. And October, I'm not a huge Halloween fan myself. Halloween, Thanksgiving, Christmas, not my favorite holidays, not my favorite time of year. But it's Halloween. And October is like an All Hallows Eve to me. I would love to have horror games and all those type of things going the entire month. Any days that I can stream, I'm looking to try to do 4 a week. For the next several weeks of October. And I'd like to get through some playthroughs. I'd like to do some extended, long, 3-hour streams of games, and maybe sometimes have you co-host with me. But what's one of the games that we need to get back into, Goose?
Well, there's the Res 6, because we got partway through that one, and then we have downloaded the Res Revelations Part 2, because it's a 2-player. And has more zombies and stuff too, and more characters to play. And then you're working on Ghost of Tsushima, I think it's called.
Yep, Ghost of Tsushima.
Which looks really cool. I have to get that someday.
It's a fun game. That is because it's not really horror based. It's gonna be one of those things I'm gonna put on hold to an extent. Yes, there is some maliciousness and stabbing and killing and stuff like that. So yeah, you could.
What about the cat? It had horror. It was in the woods or something. And the
Night
severed
in the
arm.
Woods. Yep.
You haven't finished that one. I want to see what happens next. What happened with that arm? That was so weird.
That's where I was about to transition, actually. Night in the Woods is something we took a pause on at the end of August, right before my trip. And we need to resume back on that as well. So, the Resident Evil 6 is definitely right on the forefront of my plate, because Goose has been trying to convince me still it's a good game, and I'm borderline. I think it's kind of a good game. Not really, but okay.
It's more fun because we're doing it together. We're being silly. And we're shooting monsters. That's just always fun. Shooting in a barrel.
Shooting them and killing them. That's the big thing.
Yeah.
That's the critical movement here. With that being said, so those two are the ones that are my priority right now, because the Night in the Woods is a little bit more casual. We can get a lot of gameplay out of that. We can get a little bit more, here and there. If things work like I had them before, earlier this year and last year at this time, I was able to get 2 streams in one night.
Oh, cool.
And it was like a 3-hour period. So my streams are going to be just about the same time, about 9 o'clock Eastern Standard Time. And if I can time them properly, we can get 2 streams in one night, and they'll be about 90 minutes each, give or take, depending on which game I'm at and what part and difficulty it is at that point.
Right.
We'll take Kingdom Hearts, for example, how that was a little bit more difficult at one time than Bloodborne of all games. So I played a little bit more one more than the other. But I try to balance it out regardless. And I'd like to try to just get back to doing that on a more consistent basis. And I know I've been saying this, and I've been saying it. But October is the month that I'm focusing hardcore on making those streams happen. I want 4 streams a week.
Right.
Hoping Monday through Thursday, you know.
That's cool.
And trying to get those games in. We're definitely doing Resident Evil 6. I'd like to keep that on Monday nights.
That's awesome. Yeah. Oh, and the Jackbox things, they got the horror trivia. We could do that too.
Yeah, we can definitely do a night of just the horror trivias and do different games like that. We can do like hour or 2 hours of gameplay of that. And those would be great for Saturday nights.
Yes.
Now I do have a little one, so the weekends are a little weird for me from time to time. But at least this first weekend here in October and next weekend, I believe, should be pretty good. So we might be able to force 2 Jackbox in 1 month, which would be pretty nice.
Yeah, there we go.
But just going through these plays lists real quick here. There it is. Okay. So, long story short, like, again, I want to do the horror games. Now, there's a few other games that I have here that I want to do. I've been eager to get into a game called Detroit Become Human, because it is a very fun thing to sit through. It is very wild for gameplay, and it's one of those that, you know, you do different types of trees, like little comment trees and stuff like that, kind of like the Walking Dead game. And if you go into those things, you can then form better relationships with the characters, form worse relationships with the characters. You can even get your characters completely killed off in the game, which makes it very interesting. I've never completed the game myself personally on a casual run, because I end up getting one of the characters killed off, and I really didn't want to continue from that point because I kind of wanted to get the character to go a little bit further.
Right.
But I haven't played the game in over a year, so it'd be cool to get that in.
Yeah.
And then
it looked like a cool game too.
Yeah, Detroit Become Human is pretty cool. A couple other games that I have casually started here, as like you said, as Goose mentioned, Ghost of Tsushima. I did happen to stream almost 3 hours the one night because I wanted to get some content on here of the last boss fight in Persona 5 Royale, which is going to probably be a game that I have slated for December. I want to start playing Persona 5 Royale after I'm done with Ghost of Tsushima. So, I want to try to get you two Let's Plays starting in November, picking back up in November per stream night. So if I stream Mondays and Wednesdays, you're going to have 2 games, okay, each night. If we can do Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, that would be cool. You know, again, it works along with my work schedule. This has been a casual thing for me, but it's gotten a lot more serious in the last 12 months because of my buddy Goose here and our, you know, some of our other buddies. And we've got so many games just listed. Borderlands 3 has been put on the shelf indefinitely. Like, we've got so many things to come out. But the horror is where I want to focus. And RE6, Monday nights, folks. Tuesday night, probably going to be a little bit of a night in the woods.
That'd be cool, because I like that game. That was fun.
It's a very fun, creative game. It's mostly no fighting or anything of that sort. It's just a very fun, casual pickup. And I can try out my voice acting, which is rather poor. But then Wednesday nights, maybe we can get a little bit more of, you know, Resident Evil in. Maybe we can get some of Detroit Become Human started. There's I just got a very provocative text message. I apologize, folks. But we got those. There's a few others here. Since we don't really need my screen at the moment, your screen may go black here, folks, and you may just get audio, because I'm looking. Yeah, it says only audio is being broadcast. Because I'm going to go through my list of games real quick. We might see some random stream of me playing, for example, The Binding of Isaac, because that's a quick pick up and throw down game. You know, you can be in and out and have a 15-minute session, half an hour session, hour session of that game just to get some content out if I have a really strict night. But the other, now that I'm going through the list of here, the other game that I want to get on there that would be the 4th game here would be The Walking Dead Telltale series. I want to move on to Season 2. And Again, this is a up in the air kind of slated thing, but if I can get 4 streams in a week, it would be nice to do Resident Evil 6 on Monday, get our Night in the Woods Tuesday. Wednesday we do either a little bit of Resident Evil 6 and another horror game like our Detroit Become Human, and then Thursday we do the Walking Dead Telltale series. And if I can get those 4 in, maybe run in a random Isaac, run in another game called Undertale, maybe sneak that in there. We're definitely going to have to do Jackbox. I mean, these Saturday nights would probably be more ideal for that. So if you guys happen to see this video, if you happen to stay tuned, I mean, it would be great to see you guys here, and we can do that. You mentioned also trying to do Revelations 2. I think that would be fantastic. Yeah, it'll be our next game together, and then I think what you and I personally should do is slate the game of where is it? I just had it. My brain is failing me. Tom Clancy's The Division. Yes, because so we'll try to get that game on. The mechanics were a little weird for me, but I'm sure I could learn and brush up a little bit and get that going. I have several other horror games on here, several horror-like related games, action games, things of that sort. Eventually, probably in 2022, going to do some fighting game content. I have a game called JoJo's Bizarre Adventure Eyes of Heaven, which if you're an anime lover, folks, you're going to love that game. It is just a hoot. JoJo's Bizarre Adventure, if you don't know anything about it, go look it up. It's great. It's a hoot. It's an 80s wonder, so for us old heads like Goose and I, anything that does 80s references is great. But as you've seen, I did Injustice 2 earlier this year. Going to continue with that. Going to do Marvel vs. Capcom Infinite. Again, these are probably slated for 2022. Just going through a set of games. Looking at, I have Resident Evil 4. I have Resident Evil 3 and 4. So I have the 3 remake and I have Resident Evil 4, which is... It's only a matter of time before I get the remake, which is stupid in my opinion, but that's for another day. Resident Evil 2 remake was fantastic. It really was, and I. Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
Stuff that you had, and they deleted a whole bunch of stuff out of it. Like, oh man.
Well, you're a man of cultured taste. Like, you're not a simpleton.
Yeah.
You enjoy a lot of different things, and
yeah,
one of the biggest things you and I have bonded over is the horror. Obviously, the horror is great, and so this is a perfect month for you and I to play. That being said, I'm sure if I played Resident Evil 3 Remake and Resident Evil 4, you'd be more than happy to guest commentate.
Yes, absolutely. Yeah. The one thing I really hated in 3 that they added that was not in the original was this gruesome kind of rape scene on Jill. I really hated that. That was like stupid. It hurt the storyline in my opinion, and it shouldn't have happened. Some people are into that thing. I'm not. It's really gross, and I just have to look away. I'm like, I'm so sorry, Jill. I can't save you. I'm sorry. Can't stop it from because it's a cutscene. It's something you can do.
The society we lived in the late 90s, early 2000s, when Resident Evil 3 Nemesis came out, compared to where we are now, Goose is a vastly and darker world. It really is.
Yes, it is. And I agree.
I understand that we should directly involve ourselves sometimes with these contexts, but there are times where I agree, we take our media and our games a little too far.
Yeah.
It's like handing a 7-year-old Grand Theft Auto 5.
Yeah.
Fucking don't. I mean, granted, I'm not here to tell people parenting tips. I am nowhere close to being parent of the year. I might be in the top 15. I don't know, but we'll look at the charts later. But in all seriousness, though, it's not my place to tell you how to raise your kids. But what I would personally do is I would not expose my child to that.
No, never.
Like when my little one was much littler, like I'd play Tilo like when she's like just kind of chilling in her like bed and stuff like that. And even though you're at a young age, you can kind of absorb those things. She's not gonna remember me playing that. She's not gonna remember me throwing nail bombs at Goose. You know, I'm not gonna remember anything like that. Like Uncle Goose was getting beat with a stick, but she's not gonna remember that. Daddy was getting hit with the same stick a few minutes later. She never remember that. Now that she's getting a little bit older, it's one of those things that, you know, I would love to introduce her to Pokemon. I'd love to introduce her to Mario, like all the things that I experienced when I was younger. And then
Pac-Man, Donkey Kong,
yes.
Mario Brothers. Those are appropriate games for little kids, you know. Or you get the vintage from the Atari, like the Maya Pitman, where you swing across little alligators, you know, little tar pits and stuff, you know. Old vintage Atari games, stuff like that is appropriate for little kids, not the
Tetris, checkers, chess, you know, Minesweeper, things that aren't going to damage your kid, not like dumping your second grader into Grand Theft Auto 5, or here, hey, let's watch Daddy stream with Uncle Goose Resident Evil 5. Like, no, not happening. No. Maybe once you understand this a little bit better, sure. No, this is what they call playful violence. It's something you learn in sociology and psychology. It's playful violence. It's not violence that's going to harm anyone. It statistically will not change your wiring in your brain unless you become addicted to video games, which is a serious addiction, and one that needs to be addressed in a later podcast by us. But we're deferring from the whole point here. Horror. October is going to be about horror. All Hallows Eve is going to be the playlist I put up for 2021. And again, here's going to be our preemptive scheduling. Okay, Monday nights. These are all at 9 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, so keep that in mind. Or Eastern Daylight Time, or whatever it'll be. Fucking, I don't know. It's Eastern Time in the States. Okay, for some of you that are in Canada or in the UK and watch us.
6 o'clock if you're on the West Coast, 9 o'clock if you're on the East Coast.
Yeah, that works best.
Don't ask me Mountain Central Time, I don't know. It's probably like 8 or 7 or something, God only knows.
We know the far side and we know the east side. That's what we know here in the United States. But anyway, Monday nights it's going to be Goose and Hawk Zombie Hunters with the Resident Evil 6 gameplay. Until we complete that, we probably won't polish it off by the end of October, but, you know, fingers crossed. We did go through the Leon and Helena pretty quickly.
Yeah.
Tuesday nights, Night in the Woods, you know, beautiful game. The animation is fantastic. You'll love it. If you haven't seen it yet, go back in one of my playlists, The Night in the Woods, and check it out.
You got at least 2 parts, I think, maybe 3. I can't remember.
I think most of the games I've done recently, I've gotten 2 parts out, and then for some reason I just ADHD elsewhere. But that's because I have so many games I just want to pump out. I have so many different things I want to do content. I was depressed the other night and I started playing Star Ocean The Last Hope, which is a very long RPG, just like Persona 5. But it is a beautiful game made by the same people that make the Final Fantasy games, Square Enix. You will love it. If you didn't get a chance to see it, go back and watch Star Ocean The Last Hope. It's like a 2-hour stream. It is great. The music is great. You'll hear me constantly go do 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 because I love this shit. It's great. It's addicting. It's awesome. Very difficult game about halfway through. But again, Tuesday night, Night in the Woods. Wednesday night, we'll do either a combination of or either or Hawk and Goose Zombie Hunters with RE6 and Detroit Become Human. So we'll do one or the other or both, depending on how things work out. And then Thursday nights will be more or less up in the air, but I'm looking to try to do the Walking Dead Telltale series season 2.
That will be cool.
Those episodes go rather quickly, so usually in one night I can get one full part done. So we should be able to breeze through season 2 probably by the end of October and start season 3. Now, for games like that are like a 2-hour session, like that's something I could pop out randomly in a week. Hello, Miss Lady Rebel.
Hello.
Go ahead and join my lobby. I am in the Tilu. She's not actually Spanish, folks, but we welcome Lady K Rebel to our little podcast thing here Goose and I are doing, and we've been just reiterating what I'm going to be doing for my channel here. Well, our channel now, Goose.
Yeah. It's still your channel. I'm just a special permanent guest star.
He's a co-host, and he doesn't give himself enough credit. But yeah, again, Monday nights we're going to do Resident Evil 6. Tuesday nights a Night in the Woods. Wednesday nights, again, hopefully Resident Evil 6 and Detroit Become Human. And then Thursday nights is the Walking Dead Telltale series season 2.
And at least one Saturday, if not 2, we'll be doing the Jackbox the next couple of months also.
Yes, so we're going to try to get 2 in a month instead of just 1. But for October, these next 2 weekends are looking pretty good as of right now. Again, this is all not in stone. It's on the slate with the magic marker. But we're looking to get the Jackbox party games going, and we will do Trivia Murder Party because it is October, and October means Halloween. That being said, let's.
I don't think you're visual. You went incognito. I don't see in the list.
Oh yeah, shit! I did mess that up, didn't I? One.
There you go.
Okay.
He's on right now.
We're all invisible people here in the planet that just keeps on spinning. But alright, folks. We're gonna go ahead and cut this here tonight, and maybe there will be a stream of our gameplay tonight. Maybe not. If not, I will see you guys a little bit tomorrow night. All right. So, any parting words, Goose?
Peace out.
That's it.
Live long and prosper.
All right. You heard Mr. Star Trek himself, and for your buddy Mojo
and the Goose Man.
We will catch you next time. All right. Take care, folks. Stay toasty and frosty, friends.